The rivals relied too much on triangulation to meet success. They tried to use win-win reasoning with bribery and apology to reduce their sentence, but the team imposed win-lose reasoning on them. They used TRI to read their Miranda rights, which strained their WMI. When the FBI tried to return the money to the Allied banks, it went missing again. Turns out the criminals were merely pawns to her. They were promised wealth but received lifelong incarceration instead. She abandoned them as she is no white knight. The FBI did another background check on her and found out that she used false identification with no information on residence or bank history. The FBI realized they have been had and didn't have any leads. She drove towards the sunset as a trillionaire and cackled. The FBI is brilliant, but her XQ is simply superior. So is her YQ and ZQ. This is one of many stories that utilizes over 300 types of intelligence. If you want to learn more, refer to your thesaurus. 13 checked it and found unstructured team situation, unstructured solo situation, systematized team situation, systematized solo situation, local strategy, AP, EP, PI, crystallized reasoning index, precognition, recording, reverse psychology, fluid verbal comprehension index, post-planning, geometric understanding, root cause investigation, diffuse thinking, Gardner's multiple intel, improvisation, formal logic, propositional logic, predicate logic, modal logic, deontic modal, epistemic modal, temporal modal, critical thinking, critical reasoning, power thinking, dark triad, Machiavellianism, narcissistic inducement, psychotic inducement, relationship M, relationship B, ingenuity, and street smarts, along with many more terms. 13 struggled to retain all of it, as well as the rest of the class. As for student government, 7 and 8 applied for class president. The class made the unanimous decision to elect 8 because everyone hated 7. This pissed him off, but he shouldn't be surprised. He became vice president, though no one wanted him there either. The president can choose 3 advisors and make 5 changes to the class. She chose 13, 6, and someone else to be her advisors. An advisor's job is merely to offer advice to the president and obey orders. She signed 5 bills to have health care use fresh bandages, provide correct medications, add fruit smoothies to the cafeteria, double food stamps, and outlaw theft. 4 of her bills were successful, but food stamps only got a 10% increase. The improvements to healthcare made the waiting process 50% slower, too. Simply because the teachers had a cruel sense of humor and were brutally strict. King can choose one advisor, 7 can choose one advisor and sign one bill. If the president approves of the bill, she deemed many of his ideas unconstitutional, which much to his exasperation. So he settled for no talking aloud in class, because he hates listening to 13. As an extrovert, she hated that idea too, but she was sick of arguing with 7 and dealing with his attitude, so she permitted it. He chose the most submissive person in the class to be his advisor. He told her he doesn't want any advice, he just wants her to spy on everyone else and report to him if anyone does anything he doesn't like. She cried because it was a very tedious and dystopian role. He told her to shut up. She complied. 34 became the police chief and recruited 5 people. The remaining 23 people took positions in the Department of Health, Food, or Information. Department of Health produced first aid kits to supply to whoever applied for health care. Department of Food worked on the farm and produced seasonings and condiments. Seasonings and condiments were great to have again since communism originally took those away. Department of Information are the messengers, basically the news. They are in charge of informing the class about updates and other positions uttered, and whatever conditions may change. On week 8, Mr. Whammy made an announcement. Communism is finally over. You'll now live under socialism. Housing and healthcare is still free. You get your utilities and privacy back, so it's your dorm again. You'll still get paid the same, but you can receive job benefits depending on how good you work, like a free side in the cafeteria, a shorter wait for a first aid kit, or some other trivial thing. Work is now optional again, too. But due to free housing and health care under socialism, taxes and inflation will be rampant. You can borrow as many credits as you want, but the more debt you're in, the worse your grade will be, risking expulsion, as well as making inflation worse for the whole class. Utilities will be randomly shut off, too. Though socialism has a lot more benefits than communism, it's still a lot more unstable and has a horrible economy as well. Gulags are no more, but if you get arrested, you'll go to jail and do community service 112 hours a week. Good luck graduating if so. Food is less rationed, but the cafeteria will randomly shut down due to an unstable workforce. So stock up on canned food. You can invest your money again, but the stock market will be much less predictable. If you screw up, you could get up to $5,000 in debt, which could be the cause of failure to pass. The class, gambling is still illegal. Godspeed, everyone. Then class resumed. 13 managed to very slowly gain some of his weight back. His sleep improved because he can finally bathe and shower again, instead of using the pond full of algae and mosquitoes. He went from 2 hours of sleep to 5 hours of sleep. Though his body still hurt all the time, his mania is gradually getting worse. He's getting more paranoid. 8 rarely turned to him for advice anymore and would just order him to rest somewhere. 13's mind often raced. Why has she stopped talking to me? Why does she look at me like that? Why is everyone looking at me like this? Is 7 still plotting to kill me? Will he succeed? Do other people want me dead? Am I failing the class? Am I starving to death? Do I have the cold, flu, or something worse? Should I go get laid so I don't die a virgin? Should I go have sex with that woman 69 so she'll give me food? Should I go home, throw away everything I worked so hard for? Should I work every waking hour to pay off my debt of $2,000? Should I get into more debt to buy weed to prevent myself from going insane? Should I stop working so my health can improve? who keeps whispering in my ear that I'm stupid and worthless. Why are the rooms so damn bright and loud? Should I kill myself if I fail the class so I don't have to live with myself? Are my friends going to abandon me? Are they really my friends? Why are they ignoring me? Will they starve to death too? Will they kill themselves if they fail the class? How will I save them? Why do I keep dreaming of my death with many different causes every time? Is God actually real? Is he angry at me? Is he trying to warn me? Will I really burn in hell like Seven says? Why does he hate me so much? Does everyone else hate me? Do my parents regret having me? Do I hate myself? Am I not good enough? Am I not worthy of mercy? Can I redeem myself? Along with thousands, perhaps tens of thousands of similar questions. Often he would cry, laugh, or hyperventilate for hours in his room. The footsteps in the hallway would scare him, sometimes terrify him. He could no longer sleep with the lights off, but it was way too bright, so he covered his eyes with his one blanket, exposing his body to cold temperatures. The lights would randomly turn off, making him scream. Someone would pound on the walls in response, which hurt his ears and terrified him. He couldn't enjoy his weekends because he slept through them or would try to. He couldn't earn much because he sometimes fell asleep during work or class, waking up with frostbite or startled awake when the class had to go to another room. Sometimes he could sleep 7 hours, other times he couldn't sleep more than 1 hour. Hours felt like days, days felt like weeks, weeks felt like months, and months felt like years. It's been 2 months since Seven injured his leg, but the brutal labor, lack of sleep, and poor nutrition kept him from healing, making him limp for what felt like 2 years. He rarely noticed it anymore. This gave him very unique muscle development compared to his class. Time will tell if this is a blessing or a curse. Somehow he kept his composure more or less. Every day, he bought lots of weed and got high at least 3 times a week. The high wasn't fun anymore. He had enough rations to get anywhere. He never had enough rations to get anywhere near to covering his munchies. He got a lot more horny. However, he would be too sore to relieve it. He couldn't appreciate anything anymore. The high made the lights and sounds even more painful. Instead of imagining the universe, he would imagine all the ways he could die soon. It simply made him unfearful and even okay with that likelihood. The weed got rid of his fears and helped him sleep, but the high sucked now and he couldn't wait for it to make him pass out. He no longer cared about his debt. It was impossible to pay off. The 30% interest felt like an endless circle of hell. He suffered through another 7 weeks. Then fascism began. Work is compulsory again. Food has communist level rationing again. Inflation is greatly reduced, but taxes are still very high. Housing and health care is no longer free. However, the utilities are far more reliable and never shut off anymore. The medicine and equipment finally has no more nonsense, providing much better service, though the waiting process is still pretty bad. The stock market is more stable. Gambling is still illegal. With 2 bills already covered by fascism, 8 signed 2 new bills. 1 bill extended the Department of Health Care to include therapy sessions for mental health, where Mrs. Whammy accepted the request to counsel. In Mr. Whammy's rare moment of benevolence, he stopped making abusive comments to the students in order to honor that. Her other bill is to provide pillows and blankets and hot chocolate to the class for free, betting to help recharge the mind, sugar to increase deductive ability by 40%. 13 declined betting because he did not want to sleep in class, but he gladly took a glass. Miraculously, the teachers approved the 8-ounce drink being free. However, each refill cost 2 debits, 2 credits, or 2 stamps. 13 on average would squat in his seat to further prevent passing out and consume 5 cups of hot cocoa, pouring crazy amounts of sugar into each glass, almost turning the liquid into mud. Turns out sitting in his chair like beyond birthday also increases deductive ability by 40%. The sugar made focus significantly easier, but it made his mania even worse. At least the offending symptom is euphoria this time. The month finally ended, and it's time to take final exams for Class A, Math. There's the math equation for Class A. Good luck understanding it, because I don't. You may want to pause. All right. Micro world of organic structure. Build a sentient computer. Social development. Build a generator with an infinite fuel source. Turbo political history. Read the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy at 120,000 words per minute, or 2,000 words per second. Make sure to acquire 100% comprehension. Political science. Be voted for president by 100 AI bots. Present yourself and your policies better than your peers. There can only be one. Radiology. Identify the single cancer cell in a dead bear. Psychology. Pry into your peers' personal history to unblock their deepest memories and make them break down crying in pain. Knitting. Knit a tuxedo out of 50 different materials and wear it without discomfort or exposure. KQ. Run 80 miles in 300 minutes. 13 was too injured to run, so he had to do 4 powerful kung fu strikes per second for 300 minutes. FSCQ. List 350 types of intelligence, then program them into an AI to outwit and destroy everyone else's AI. Thanatology. Fall asleep and have a lucid dream about you suffering a gruesome death, then dissect your entire emotional and logical state of the process, as well as the states of your classmates' dream counterparts to maximum accuracy. Hoplology. Build a microscopic atomic bomb and destroy a boulder with it. Art. Imitate the starry night on a 3x3 poster. Make sure every nanometer has perfect accuracy. After a long day, 13's head pounded in pain after 10 cups of crazy sweet hot cocoa, neuron burnout, 1 hour of sleep last night, and 20 mental breakdowns. The class was sent to bed. Saturday at noon, 25 students failed and were driven home. 10 students remain. 13. There is no way in hell I passed the class. I must be dreaming. Mr. Whammy. You passed mainly because you were the only one to read the trilogy at 2,000 words per second with decent comprehension. The rest of the class wasn't even close. 7 passed because he ran 80 miles with an hour to spare. 8 passed due to her excelling at political science among students and bots. 69 passed because her manipulation and psychology skills are unmatched among her peers. 6 passed because she convinced herself in a dream that she really did die horribly. She traumatized herself and is still recovering. 34 made it because his bomb actually worked. 20 passed because he got every equation correct. 3 passed because his art was the best, despite getting 69 quintillion 420 quadrillion femtometers wrong. 42 passed because the computer became sentient. Finally, 99 passed because the suit consisted of 100 materials and fit really well, going above and beyond. Now, one last thing is needed to enter Class S. You must sell your lives to us until further notice. If you decline, you'll be banished. If you accept, you will not be allowed to leave until further notice. I warn you that the training will be life-threatening and life-changing. Class A will pale in comparison to Class S in terms of difficulty. A moment later, 13 had a panic attack and 6 consoled him. 7 smirked and rolled his eyes. 8 looked at him with pity. A minute later, everyone accepted. Mr. Whammy. Excellent. It is time you received a proper alias. I will pass around the papers. Okay, stay tuned for the last few episodes. See ya.